Uncanny X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga, issue 131, Prisoners of the White Queen. So we have one group that got captured by the White Queen. The other group was able to escape from Weingard. We have Weingard messing with Jean Grey's mind. Things going crazy. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Longbox Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the long box. Now, last couple issues we've talked about two new mutants were found, Kitty Pryde and Dazzler. And so one group consisting of Cyclops and Wolverine and Storm and Professor X went over to find Kitty Pryde, and the White Queen took him prisoner, and Kitty Pryde was able to sneak onto the jet, and they're off doing their thing. Yeah. Then we have Nightcrawler, Phoenix, and Cyclops went to go get Dazzler. They were attacked by the goons with Jason Weingard, and again, Jason Weingard's messing with Jean Grey's mind, making her think that she's back in the Revolutionary War time period and that they're husband and wife. And they were able to escape, and they found a phone call from Kitty Pryde, and Kitty Pryde said, "Hey, they're prisoners. Please come help." So now we're starting this issue. And it's got a great cover. The White Queen looks like just evil on this cover. And we got all the X-Men in cages and good stuff going on there. So she's on her run away. She's trying to escape the goons. She dived through the floor in that last issue, and the goons are after her trying to get her. She was able to make the phone call to Cyclops. And just as that car is getting up on her, she trips and falls. Jean Grey comes out of nowhere and just like smashes the car with telekinetic power. Nightcrawler dives in, grabs her, teleports up, jumps up with his agile stuff and gets up on top of the roof and whatnot. And Jean Grey's there with the car, and Cyclops walks up, and so does Dazzler. Now, it's funny. It says Dazzler says, compared to this, my mutant ability to create fancy light shows is nothing. So she tore this car up, and Cyclops, "Hey, what are you doing? I told you just to stop the car, not to turn it into junk, not to jeopardize people's lives here." And she's like, "But you didn't feel the terror of this little girl." And so she's now starting. You can see where she's starting to react to external stimuli, doing things that she normally would not have done, based on how she's feeling and the things that are happening around her. And so Nightcrawler waves him up, and Jean Grey was able to grab him by her telekinetic power and lift everybody up to the top of the roof. And excuse my cough, got a little bit of a cold. And so she had run away from Nightcrawler, and she was hiding, and Jean Grey's able to change her clothes with her telekinesis, which is really a cool thing. I like how they do that. And she goes in and she finds, "Hey, we're the X-Men. We're here to help you. We're here to help you rescue the others. Everything's going to be okay," and whatnot. So they get on the jet, and Jean Grey goes to do a telepathic look into one of the goons' minds, right? And in the blink of the eye, they learn where the other X-Men are, where they're being held. The woman's holding them is Emma Frost. They learn about the Hellfire Club. They learn about the group of the inner members of the Black King and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, "The Hellfire Club. That I remember." The Hellfire Club is the same thing that's happening in her brain with Jason Weingard that's occurring back in the past. So she's kind of like, "Oh, what is going on?" And Scott kind of see that something's bothering her, but she doesn't talk to him about it. And so they kind of do this little shenanigan where they dress up like the bad guys and tie everybody up, put them in the back of the car, head over to the Frost compound. And Frost is in there, and she's interrogating, or she's doing, I don't know if she's actually interrogating per se, but she's got Storm up on a cross thing, and she's doing some psychic probes, and like, this will hurt, And at that time, Kitty Pryde comes through the walls, and she's able to reach into the cage's locking mechanism and pop it, which was a really cool use of her powers. And again, remember, this is the first instance. This is, Claremont coming up with this stuff, and it's really cool. The things they were, that came with these guys' minds. to do when, they didn't even have that technology back then. Some of the technology when this thing was written, and the ideas that he come up with these powers, cool stuff. So he's able to help her get out. Some bad guys shoot her, and then you see Wolverine pop his claws and says, "Hey, sucker, you just made the biggest mistake of your life." He sounds like Mr. T. It's funny. And so the car pulls up. So in there, she had gone through the wall to help them escape, while the car is still coming through the front gate. Dazzler pops up and does this huge light show thing, and it just kind of knocks everybody for a loop. And then, then they have this scene where they're dazzled. It's funny. And they jump out of the car, and you got her in roller skates. You got the Bamf. He bamps, and you're not going to see this panel that's cut like this. And you see Nightcrawler bamps in. Then you see them running through the hallways. They're shooting, the beams with light and all this kind of stuff. And the White Queen's like, "You take care of the break-in. Get them and stop them, whatnot, whatever she does, normally says there." And then Phoenix shows up, right? So Phoenix shows up in the room with Frost, and Storm's there. And you got some cool scenes here. The goons are shooting lasers at him, and then, Nightcrawler, bamf, knocks one guy out. Bamf, knocks another guy out. Bamf, knocks another guy out. Just a great panel here. And then you see Wolverine come up. They find, which is really cool. You see Wolverine, and then you see Colossus. And they are definitely two different heights. It's like Wolverine barely makes it the waist of Colossus. And Colossus is carrying Kitty and whatnot. So that was pretty cool. Then we see Colossus armor up. He gets shot with a laser, and he just just bashes this dude. Some great stuff in here. And so they're like, "Hey, they took Storm away, and they're interrogating her, and I think Jean Grey's over there, and I can follow her scent." So they all start heading off that way, right? And then you get this great picture where Emma Frost is fighting Jean Grey, and you get this green beam of telepathic power. She's a telepath, not really telekinetic. And she's shooting at Jean Grey. Jean Grey's got the whole Phoenix effect up around her. And Storm's like, "The Phoenix effect. I haven't seen that since the Macron crystal in the Sharer space." That's supposed to be put down. That's supposed to be put back in her mind and brought under control. And she's actually doing the Phoenix effect again. We're in trouble. This is not right. And so her power is a song within her, a passion beyond human comprehension. She is more alive than she's ever been, as was smashes through the White Queen's psychic defenses with contemptuous ease. And you just see this Phoenix claw reach through the psychic defenses, and the claw kind of wraps around the bird's beak, coming out of face, and then you just see this explosion. Right? Crazy stuff. So we have Nightcrawler and Cyclops and Colossus run in. They start digging through the rubble, and then this huge Phoenix effects out of the rubble, ripping everything away, right? And there's Jean Grey standing with Storm. And they come out, and then Professor X shows up, out of wherever they were holding him. They were able to get him as well, and so now they're all back at Kitty Pryde's house. And Dazzler's like, "Hey, I'll keep in touch, but I'm going to kind of do my own thing, my own style. I'm going to be on a stage, etc." And the dad's really mad. I mean, his daughter was kidnapped. He doesn't know what happened to her. Mom's crying. Things are going really bad. And the dad is just lambasting because, if you remember, he thought they were going for ice cream yesterday. And now they're showing up today with the kid again, kidnapping. I mean, that's what he's going through his head. He's like, "You kidnapped my kid." And then Jean Grey reaches into his mind and switches that off and changes. "Oh, it's good to see you again." Totally changes his mind. Both Cyclops and Storm recognize that she's done this, and he's like, "Jean, you shouldn't have done that." And she goes, "Well, just doing what comes naturally. I don't know, I know you don't approve. I don't know the professor doesn't approve, but when you have psi powers like this, Scott, sometimes you just have to use it to do the right thing." And again, Storm comes to Cyclops like, "Hey, something's going on. I saw her Phoenix effect power. I saw what she did here to the dad. Things are not right, and that something's going on." And so they both sense a wrongness about her. And in the distance behind them, we see Jason Weingart. So obviously he is pulling some strings somewhere, and you can see the effect of his manipulation on her mind now starting to affect her powers. Now, I don't know if that was necessarily his intention. I don't know if he's intended to do that, or he was just trying to, weasel his way in and break up the relationship. But it's definitely causing issues. So we see here in this issue now, a lot of action, a lot of fighting. That was a great issue for fighting, action, explosions, lasers, armoring up, Wolverine, the whole 9 yards. It was great. Dazzler using her powers really good. Kitty Pryde using her powers really good, even though it kind of knocked her for a loop. All that was great. Art was pretty good. Paneling was great. And you just see the story kind of progress where you see Jean Grey starting to do things that she normally would not have done, but she doesn't have a problem with it right now. It's just, you can see the inkling of the Phoenix starting to take over. The inkling Phoenix has no emotions. It just does what it does, and it needs to accomplish its goal. So we see that happening. So good issue in the story arc. It was awesome. I enjoyed it, and hopefully you all are enjoying it too. And if you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.